Namaste, Deanna with Divine Destiny and Empowering Empaths. Today I'm coming on with a few tips for you sensitives, for you light workers, you way showers of this beautiful planet Gaia, on the freedom of empowerment for you empaths. Stepping into your sensitivities as your gift. If you followed my channel for a while, you hear me talk often about being authentic. So I'm just going to dive deep into this and share a few tips for you empaths of the freedom and the ability to take a deep breath into your solar plexus, your abdomen, for the first time possibly in your life. I know for me, when I had my spiritual awakening and I started facing my fears and letting go of all of these prior programmed things that were telling us that our sensitivities, that we were being too sensitive, really releasing them and realizing that for the first 40 years of my life, I was taking shallow breaths into just my lungs and not really dive deep all the way into that solar plexus with some nice cleansing breaths. It's a fight or flight that I stepped out of, and this will probably relate to any of you sensitives that come in and listen today. So if this resonates with you at the end, please do like, subscribe, leave some comments on how your gifts have been at one time possibly your curse, and now stepping into that empowerment of your authenticity of where they become your gifts. So I just want to go right into this. I've been jotting down little notes to myself. I've experienced this. I've walked this path, and that's why I share it, because I can feel within me the transformation that's taken place as I stepped into my authenticity. And it truly is, like I said, a freedom. It's a freedom to being you, and it's a gift. So, number one, no longer being concerned of what other people's expectations are of you. And as an empath, a deep feeler, it's not to say that we don't care, because I don't think that we can stop caring unless we disassociate and numb it out for a while. And so that's just a short, temporary thing. But the true freedom of starting to step into this as your gift is no longer being concerned of what other people expect of you, by always listening to your heart and your truth and being authentic to that. So number one, no longer being concerned of what others expect of you. Number two, dropping the idea that other people feel as deeply and as intensely as we do. I believe that availability is for all humans, because we all have hearts. But a lot of people are going on these programs of self first, not otherly thinking, not being concerned or really caring about what everybody else feels. Feelings, not judgments, not expectations, but feelings. So make sure, as an empowering empath, empowered as you walk this journey, that you're dropping this idea that other people feel as intensely as you do. And just remember that. Number three, have an awareness that some people walking around, or some people maybe even in your personal life, they don't have a otherworldly thinking heart set. I don't want to say mindset. They don't take into consideration actions or words that may hurt other people's feelings. They're very discerning within yourself, knowing that other people, we can just call it selfish, and that's just ego and fear, right? They haven't merged the mind and the heart together in that sacred union yet, so they don't think of collectively that we're all one. So just remember that. It's a beautiful tool in your tool belt. And so let me go on to the next one now. 4, saying no without guilt, without explanation. And this one's huge, because a lot of us have walked out of being people pleasers and thinking that we can just save the world and that everybody thinks and feels as intensely as we do. And the truth of the matter of it is that they don't. So being able to say no and speak your truth, because what happens when we say yes to things, let's just use a really super simple thing. Somebody invites you to go to dinner and you don't really feel like leaving the house for the day. You're in an inner time where you're feeling like you really just want to be alone. And you say yes because they're your friend or your sister or your mother or whoever it may be. And you say yes to that, even though your inner voice was telling you that you just feel like being alone, you're decompressing, you're on an inner reflection time. You're building resistance within yourself because you said yes when really your inner compass and your inner feelings and intuition wanted to say no. So really, that's how simple it can be. You know, it can go from the simplicity of that to something way bigger. When you do this, remember, if somebody else truly holds space for you, you should be able to communicate that with them and say, no, I'm just feeling like an inner quiet time today. And if they truly care about you, which this is when you'll see what I was talking about with number 3 is the awareness with other people sometimes don't take into consideration how you may be feeling. So this one's a huge one, goes hand in hand, play and role with that. So make sure the simplicity of the no, if your intuition, your feelings are asking you to just to be still that day and you say yes, you're building a resistance within you. That's an energetic resistance. So just remember that. Saying no without guilt and shame. And so if anybody truly holds space for you, they'll honor that. If they don't honor that and it causes a ruckus, that's their deal, not yours. Remember this. It's so very important. Okay, so 1, 2, I didn't number them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5, releasing all guilt, shame, and unworthy patterns in your life. I promise you, if you start working on yourself, stepping into your authenticity, you start releasing all of these, most of the time, old programs that made you acquire shame, guilt, or unworthiness for putting yourself emotionally first. I want to ask you right now, this is a huge transformational thing. As you remove those layers, you will feel like a ton of bricks being lifted off your shoulder. That's got to be first and foremost, releasing these things. This is layers. It's a process. It's not normally a one and done thing. I know that's not how I experienced it. It was a couple years of just releasing, and allowing triggers from other people to really spark an awareness within myself to go, why does this bother me? And so it was a lot of programs of, I know a really big one is, because we're all human and this isn't a shame perspective, I don't want to empty my shame out and point at somebody else outside of me, because that's not how it works. But I will say this. We've all been born into families, and even if it was good, just being born in the earth plane as such a sensitive soul is traumatic. And a lot of shame cultural of, honor thy mother and father, period, when, to be honest with you, they as a human didn't heal first before they started having children. And so there's a lot of cultural shame as well. So I'll ask you to face all of that as well. Release it. Release the patterns of feeling like you're not worthy of good things, because you are. Trust me, you are. So another thing too, stepping out of the role of the martyr, so to speak, self-sacrificial, meaning feeling, because of your sensitivities and your big heart space as an empath, that you have things that within you can share with other people to help them heal, but you overextend yourself. Don't play the role of that, because trust me, a lot of people don't want to hear the truth, your truth. A lot of people don't want to face their own truth. So we're in this society which is unfolding as we speak. I'm coming to you on January 9th, just before this huge full moon in Cancer lunar eclipse, which is very symbolic of the mother, right? The feminine archetype. But we have this opposition with a whole lot of things going on in Capricorn, which are revamping structures. This is huge to share right now, even though this is a timeless message, because it's been asking us over 2019 to step away from all of the things that make you dim your light, play small, not speak your truth, anybody that sabotages your peace, don't celebrate you, collectively it's on. So that's another huge thing. Stepping out of that role, thinking we have to save the world, when really we just need to focus on vibrating higher within ourselves and truly loving ourselves from a heart-centered space, right? Dropping those egoic games of lack, fear, competition, and realizing that we're here. So, number 7, being authentic to you always, and listening to your gut, your intuition. That is never going to steer you wrong. And as far as I'm concerned, the sensitives, the empaths, light workers, way showers are the very ones, because we feel so intensely, and not selfish in a society's way of putting it from an ego point, but we've been taught to put other people first. And I'm here and your biggest cheerleader to tell you, no, you have to fill your own cup with love first. Then we can be in service, but only be in service to those that want it, right? Because if you don't, you'll deplete yourself quicker than anything. Empath, you guys can walk into a room and feel the energy. So, it's on. And we deep feelers and healers are the ones that literally can raise the vibration of this planet. I wholeheartedly believe that, 120%. And so that's the importance of being authentic to you always. Your sensitivity is your biggest gift and your biggest strength, especially now we're in 2020 going forward. A lot of the old energy needs to fall away, that we are seeing the start of that right now. Saturn, Pluto conjunct Mercury, the Sun, many other planets in Capricorn, which is the father archetype, if you ask me. But it was out of balance for so long. So that's the importance of going inner, saying no when you don't want to really go somewhere. Even if you love the person, don't mistake that. Don't allow that guilt and shame within you of being authentic and go, no, I really just want to stay home and be inner. You'll know where the healthy boundaries need to take place if you say no to people and you see the reaction of anything other than they hold space for you. Clear communication is a huge, huge, huge thing that can clear up many things. Collectively, if you haven't done this already and you're just getting on this path, I would highly suggest you do that. Your soul is here to allow your sensitivities to be a gift. And everybody around you, like rebuilding structures, we just want to say with the North Node going into Cancer, is in Cancer, of rebuilding our units, right? And allowing that nurturing, motherly compassion to start with yourself first. And don't allow society to tell you that you're being selfish in an egoic way. Because truly, if we open our eyes and look around, we can see who's acting from the heart space, or if they're in that mind. They haven't merged the mind with the heart in that sacred union yet. So just a few tips I wanted to give you guys, because it's been so transformational in my life. For the first 40 years, I was in fight or flight, struggled with significant anxiety and often depression. But a lot of times when we're going through that depression and dark night of the soul, there is such beauty on the other side of that. So allowing that change and that transformation is just huge, guys. So I hope you enjoy this. Want me to run over it one more time? I'm going to real quick before I pull us an Archangel Oracle for this message. Gonna do this quickly. No longer being concerned of others' expectations. This doesn't mean you don't care. This just means you're putting yourself first, which everybody should. Dropping the ideas that other people think from a heart space so intensely and feel as intensely as we do. A lot of them are growing on the egoic program of lack, fear, and they don't take into consideration other people's feelings, because if they did, there would be no gossip, there would be no knocking each other off at the knees. We'd be in a heart space, being able to have communication openly with everybody. Have an awareness that some people don't hold a collective mindset in their heart space, meaning, how does what I do impact others? There's a lot of people that don't. You empaths do, trust me. Saying no without guilt or explanations, speaking your truth always, always. Releasing all shame, guilt, and unworthy patterns from your program, right? We're declutter. Let's cleaning out the computer, our computer, of all these programs that most of us in a society, we're too sensitive, this, that, and the other. No, we're not too sensitive. It's the very gift that you were here as a soul to anchor light on this planet. So remember that. Stepping out of the martyr role, that means not overextending yourself to others, because I know for me, I had so much transformation going on within me that made me want to share so from a heart space with others, because I realized that it could empower them as well. Some people not wanting it, totally triggering a lot of people who've been in their programs for years that have no intentions. You know, they chose to sleep apparently, and that's okay. That's their role. Your role is, don't be self-sacrificial. Don't be that martyr. It'll get you slayed, whether it be verbally, emotionally, all day long. So just remember, step out of that martyr role. Number 7, being authentic to you always. Listening to that gut, that intuition. If your body says it don't feel right, then it don't feel right. So say no and be authentic to you. We are the deep feelers and the healers. I believe the vibration of us empaths, light workers, way showers, is exactly what this planet needs. And if people are too hung up in their egos, don't be concerned of that. That goes right back to number 1, which is not being concerned of what other people's expectations are of you. Be true to you, right? So let's sum this up today with an Archangel Oracle. God, Creator, Source, dear Spirit, I am here, I am ready, and I am open like a chalice to receive some love messages to empower us empaths to be in our heart space and allow our gifts to come into fruition. We are a light of this world. We are a gift to this world. We're no longer going to allow our weaknesses, which is not really a weakness, but our intense feelings, to cripple us. We're going to use it to be in service of self first, and then others who want it. We give thanks in advance. Allow me to be a perfect communication and deliver a clear message for all sensitives who are tuned in today. We give thanks in advance. Ha! Unbelievable. Indigo and Crystal Children. Archangel Metatron. You have a bond with children. In particular, you can help the children who are sensitive. This is not only speaking to you. Like I just said, our sensitivities are the biggest gift and our biggest strength. We gain our spiritual muscles through that intense feelings. And this messages came up for me a lot. A lot. That's what inspired me to start this channel. If you're new today, my empath son transitioned himself. Very beautiful soul. 5 years ago, he mirrored exactly to his mama the very sensitivities that I carried, but I never understood the extreme gift that it was until he transitioned and started helping me from the other side. It inspired me to start this channel. I was given this message that I needed to help and be of service the second night after he left his body, and that is what inspired me to start this channel. Not only your sensitivity as an empath is your biggest gift, but you also have the ability to help others. So really love yourselves up. We're just before this Cancer full moon with an eclipse. All these oppositions in Capricorn, so we'll just go earthy, right? Allowing all of your old programs to fall away, restructuring, revamping, going towards that North Node Cancer, which is the nurturing, the mother. Give yourself the love and compassion if you didn't get that kind of bond with your human mother. And always know that the divine mother is there as well. So you can give yourself all that loving and nurturing. You can give yourself the validation. So I send this to you with so much love today, and namaste. Blessings to you.